States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I don't know who has September.
I might.
That sounds like it.
All right, let us pray. God, Father in heaven, we thank you for thy care and keeping through the night and for this day. Lord, help us use this day and every day to see that thy will be done and to live the rotary motto of service above self. We ask this in your son's name. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Amen.
There you go. There you go.
Good morning, Rotarians.
Good morning.
Good morning. A couple of small items. Gavin has given out the bulletin, so you can look over that. First item, Joe, good morning. You owe $1. The bell had already sounded, and you came in.
Well, I'm his sponsor, so hasn't been here a year yet.
All right.
Well, I'll pay him, but everything keeps changing.
Well,
What is this? Nobody told me.
I know.
Nobody told me last week
Well,
we were not going to be here. I was
well,
here last week.
I know that because there's another dollar involved. You weren't paid us not being here last week. And we had also
But that counts for attendance for him because he showed
Walter
up.
Smith. Walter, thank you. Our communications, it didn't go out too well, and we did have Rotarians here, Rotarians in Steve's office, and so we're glad you're back today.
Had a dual meeting.
All right. Now, another item. I am confused. I stay confused.
That'll cost you $1.
I know it. Confused. All right. Glenn,
Sir,
how long have you been in our Rotary Club?
I believe it was about March.
About March.
Yes, sir.
You know, and I'm not sure, we're worried about the perimeter. Sure.
I'm worried about the movement of time, because I wasn't aware of that. Well, I made a suggestion, but I didn't get any notice on.
Okay, we had some issues, just pay me $1 on this one.
Talk about it later, right?
Yeah, we're gonna get to it. Is the perimeter, I guess you were checking the perimeter.
Actually, I was late, so there could be some problems out there.
Okay.
No assurances today.
Yes, sir. All right, great. Now, I just started, and I'm glad the perimeter's okay. Juan is here.
Just said it might not be.
Good afternoon. We need $1 already. The class, no.
Nobody got it.
Here we go. Here we go. Good deal. All right. Sit down. All right, good deal. All right, we do start at 7 o'clock because the class rolls in here and has to have the class. And we announced, Joe, we announced at 15 till we would clear out, or by 10 till we start closing out completely. All right, the issue I have, one, since you are here, I'm confused. The bulletin, you have the front cover of the bulletin, is that correct?
I do.
All right, who has the inside of the bulletin?
I have page 3.
Okay.
And the bottom of, I have page 2 and the bottom of page 3.
Okay, good. And what about the back page?
That would be Mr. Secretary.
Okay, good deal. Now, last week, we met at Steve's place, and the bulletin was given out, and we had a speaker, Amy McCauley. And it's in here that she was a member of our club and was secretary, and she has never been in Rotary. How did that happen?
Nobody's volunteering after.
May I read it just verbatim for you,
Yes,
sir?
yes, sir.
Says, Amy is a former member of Hickory Sunrise and served the club as secretary.
Yes, sir.
Somebody put that in there.
Yes, it was in there. I don't know how it is. I don't.
And I don't remember who verified that information with me, but I think they should cough up a scoop too.
Now, who verified that?
But because of my memory so bad, that's why that's in there, and that's why I can't remember the other person.
All right.
Well, and Austin did the program, didn't he? Austin got the program.
Right.
All right. Now, I won't do this, but you had the district governor visits to Hickory Sunrise and the bulletin, and you're a little bit off schedule on that one, so, but I won't fine you for that. So,
Okay,
yes,
good.
My fault because I didn't get him an update, which of course to put in there.
That's
So
right.
he had enough ingenuity to put something in there.
All right, we give you credit then. All right, we'll accept that.
Try to get $1 back.
No, no credit on that.
My telling the truth kept me from paying them $1.
All right, Bob Reinhardt.
Sir,
All right, Lynn, I'll go back to you. You've been a member since March.
Yes, sir.
What does it take to get his name in the bulletin?
I'll be doggone if I know.
Well,
On July 31st, I sent all that information to Laguna's Printing and to their operatives there. And my bulletin manager hasn't been in club for more than a month, so he didn't follow up. The
Okay.
owner of Laguna's Printing hasn't been here, and I haven't had any bulletins to look at, so we just haven't been followed up on since the 31st of July.
okay, we're off schedule, but I need $1 for this. Anyway, you're responsible for the last page. Lynn?
Sir, just real quick.
I got Bob's off.
I appreciate the list of the members, but just to let you know,
There ain't much to
you
look at.
have the wrong area code on my cell phone.
I didn't put that data in, you did.
626? No, my number is 828. Somebody must have.
There you go, this is
Yeah,
fine.
828, 'cause I've gotten phone calls.
Maybe he
from
makes
people.
6s, 8 to look like 6s.
Could-
Okay, well, I'll take the blame.
No, because since we started using DAC-DB, anybody who joins has been going on DAC-DB to enter their own club information. I don't know how that got screwed up. I'll change that.
It's just
Okay,
828 as opposed
there's
to.
enough confusion this morning, so that's all I do. I will say this. Richard Tucker and Bob Steiger, they called me yesterday morning at 6:15. They were Richard said he was in Italy, but said they were in Montenegro, which is not Italy. They had gone to a prosciutto farm, private tour on top of a mountain, absolutely great. They had a private meal, and so they were both, I talked with Steiger and with Tucker. So this morning, 2:15 this morning, text came in, and they keep saying Steiger is out of control from Tucker. Tucker is saying the same thing, but it's going from Steiger to Tucker and Tucker to Steiger. And they were drinking at 9:15 this morning, Ouzo. So I've got the evidence and a picture of it. So it is embarrassing for our club, and they're coming back Saturday, and there is a due payment coming when they get here.
That'll happen at a prosciutto.
Hey, Wayne, does that mean you'll all have to drink Ouzo in the morning now?
Sounds like a new club policy.
I have documentation, pictures on that Ouzo. So we'll go.
He's early.
Good morning, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Good morning. How are you?
$5. Don't hit my sergeant at the arm. Keep your hands off of it.
When
Okay,
that's your cell number that they put in there, 626.
I'm sorry?
That's your cell phone number they put in there is 626.
Yeah, it's 828.
It's also 828.
No, he said it must be
Don't forget, Jake's Food, Glenn sent me a note this morning, so if you'll send it up, I'll be responsible for collecting it and turning it over to him. So, I think he was dog sitting this morning, what I can gather, so that's it.
That's the reason he's not here.
I think he's had issues, so he said that he couldn't make it this morning.
I'll put it.
And Steiger had a house watch this morning. I stopped the truck, talked to the guy, and there's more issues there involved.
Stagger hell what?
There we go.
House sitter.
Better wait, we'll get changed somewhere. I'll see. Okay, we got it. Okay.
Who's collecting Richard's money?
Right here.
Wayne just said he was,
Oh, okay.
and it's on video. We have that.
You don't have how much you collected.
That's good.
There you go, good money.
All right, good, got it.
Jake is well fed.
He is, isn't he?
You know what they
Save that for after the meeting, after
Okay.
This is great. Jim Starkey and all that. Oh, that ain't no more ring about that.
Sit down.
You rang the bell.
No, it's
Rick's ready to go.
order.
He's been
Order.
trained.
It's gonna take.
It wasn't a bell, it was a tap. Okay, we have a program today. We have Brother Jim Starkey. You have the program?
Yes, sir.
Would you please introduce our guest?
This is Mr. Scott Garvin. He is the proprietor of Foot Solutions. He is expert on foot care from toes to, well,
Footwear.
footwear. To correct problems that people have, from the toes to the ankle to the heel and whatnot. So, Scott?
You guys have a lot of energy at 7 in the morning. I don't know really much about the Rotary so far, but I do think that I at least know how to throw in $1. That seems like the protocol. Really. Do not show up with $1. Is that what's
You almost qualified.
He's a quick learner. So this is fundraising at its best. I am what's called I have a shoe store.
Okay.
Do you guys, if you guys have a history in Hickory, does anyone remember Angelo Emanuel?
Oh, yeah.
Probably touched your toes when you were a kid. It may be around here somewhere. Well, I have a Fedorthic footwear retail shoe store. So, in a sense, something like that tradition. I usually use Angelo as a reference. We were in his spot where his building was for 11 years, since 2003 in Hickory. But Foot Solutions is a franchise, international franchise technically. We call it an international franchise. Our headquarters is in Marietta, but there's only, there's only about 90 stores that are domestic and Canadian. There's some licensing that's in other countries. If you were traveling in Ireland or Australia, you might see a Foot Solutions sign, but it's really about licensing. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
But I opened up one in Charlotte in 2001, and it was the 10th door to start. So good news is that I got into a business of my own. The bad news is I might have gotten in a little too early in the concept because it was so young and everything. But when we moved to Hickory, or I got married and moved back to Hickory in 2003. I grew up here. I'm a product of Burke County in this area, so this is homecoming for me. But we're raising kids here. It's a little late. We live I should have walked here. We live this close. So this is all turf. So this is all community thing. The Foot Solutions concept, though, is a little bit more sophisticated, I think, than a shoe store. Because the world doesn't need another shoe store. You can throw a rock to the next place to buy shoes. We are what's called Fedorthic. I am what's called a board-certified podorthist. That's a technician, not anything medical. I always characterize it as the physician's role in your health care is to correct. You break something, they put it back together. Surgery, or medicine, or physical therapy, they change your body in a positive way, hopefully. My job is to provide you with tools and resources that accommodate a need. So a shoe becomes a tool in a sense, not just an accessory. So if we have postural issues, or we have gait issues, or we have just performance with for our jobs or our exercise or things like that, the wrong kind of shoes can be a detriment to your health, and especially as we put a few more miles on our odometer in life, right? So that's sort of the role that we follow. The products that we have are shoes. Brand names you would recognize, New Balance and even Birkenstock and Brooks, and brand names that you may not be unless you're very specialized in a therapeutic. But I also make some medical items like orthotics. Somebody know what an orthotic? Might use orthotics. Orthos is the Greek root orthos. It means to stand vertical. So back brace can be an orthosis. Anything that helps you stand in proper posture. Podorthics is really some understanding of the biomechanics and the anatomy and the physiology of the foot and ankle. So how God made us, and what we've done with it since He did, it changed over time. Injuries, the ergonomics of our life, for sometimes the differences that your exercise routine makes on your body, the ergonomics of your job, repetitive motions that we develop. It's an amazing dynamic living machine that we have, and it changes it adapts to whatever the environmental stresses are on it. And the foot and ankle is a very complex area. There's 26 bones in the foot, 33 joints, and your hand. Half the bones in your body are in your four appendages. A lot of moving parts. Some people maybe are more likely to get arthritis in their hands and feet because there's more joints, more connections. There's also an ankle that is a very complex range of motion. The ankle moves in three directions. It moves like the shoulder. It's a rotating type joint. So every time you take a step, which you take for granted since you were 2 or 1, you might go through 100 different little micro postures by the time you move your body to that next step. It's amazing what's going on. And that's going on without your brain getting involved, because it's a reflex, it's a training, it's a conditioning. So shoes can help us put us in the right kind of posture to go through them. If you ever had, I don't know if you've had any experience with the doctor, a chiropractor does this a lot. They support us a lot because it's really a holistic thing. Start with your base. And your foot and ankle is your base. How you hold your nose determines on how that ankle is performing. So everything in between is affected.
Say that again. How you hold your nose?
Yeah, where your posture is, all the way up. So if you're out of position here, well, moving is the kinetic transfer of energy, or a transfer of kinetic energy. So your ankle is starting there. If your ankle's out of position, then your knee doesn't react right, and this hip might be lower and this shoulder higher. So everything is affected in a microsecond. So I use that as an extreme thing, you know. So, but in a small way, a repetitive motion can cause a lot of damage, right? So anyway, that's sort of our foundation part. But like I said, if you just use good judgment and listen to your body, you don't need me. If you don't have pain, you may not need me, or you may want me, just to try to help prevent the next injury or something like that. But I do some other things too. We are a medical facility. Part of my business is clinical. I'm a Medicare credential facility. We work a lot with diabetics, so I work a lot with disease states too. So people who are talking about Angelo, I mean this without exaggeration. For 6 days a week, for 11 years, someone mentioned an Angelo story. I brought my kids here, or my mom brought me here, or this or that, or they knew Angelo. Or I've heard Angelo stories since I walked in this building here already. So I told him, I said, he has such name recognition, he should have ran for mayor. So he was quite an idiot. His reputation was a lot about doing what? Working with what age group? Kids. He worked a lot with kids. Angelo was a master communicator. He sold Angelo. Shoes were just something you paid for because you bought them because they came from Angelo. Matter of fact, I always made a joke. I would say, Angelo, he was such a good person or such good at his image that if you didn't bring your kids for Angelo to put shoes on them, then there's a chance you might be a bad parent. That's how good it is, right? So that's I work with those kids, but now they're seniors. I work with someone who's gone through 20 years, 30 years, 40 years of working hard for a living. And his kids still need something. So I don't do kids' shoes, but I still work with Angelo's kids. And a lot of the things that happens, diabetes is quite probably one of is a major health concern in this country for a lot of reasons, lifestyle, and we're living longer, we're doing things longer, and things. So Medicare has a program for diabetics on Part B that will allow for shoes and insoles, and certain shoes that are approved. I have different kinds of footwear, and then it'll also allow for insoles to go in. So it's actually a prevention, because diabetes is responsible for more below-the-knee amputations than any other reason outside of trauma, like military service or something like that. So it's a very serious health concern. So we have But you don't have to look like you've got a Herman Munster shoe on to actually be, to be a diabetic. It used to be, you can spot a diabetic across the river because they're shoes. So there's a lot of conventional shoe footwear. A lot of vendors submit things. So that's one thing that we do. And then another thing that I've just recently done, or been accepted to, I have a federal contract and I work with the VA. I'm working with that more for orthotics and arches. And that's how we make this. If you look at this, this is an imaging system where we can actually do an image of the foot and mill an orthotic, our version of that. But I'm working a lot more with this. So that's just starting out, so that's sort of a nice thing. Jim is one of my, can I say that?
Yeah.
One of my customers for different services, but he's also a vet, so we sort of.
You do the orthotic without a plaster cast?
All right, good question. To make an orthotic, you do some kind of casting, plaster, where the doctor sits you down or puts you non-weight bearing and they wrap plaster. They put your ankle in a certain posture. Or you could be in the seated position and you step into a foam box and it makes a negative.
That was what we did, yeah.
Well, this is my foam box. So I stand on, we do non-weight bearing stance, and I use just some digital air pressure to use just to make a mold, and then I can work intrinsically in here to make different modifications. So it's just a question of method and materials, and so yeah.
How long is a model good for?
This is an EVA, ethyl vinyl
I
acetate.
mean, when they do a casting of your foot, how long can you rely on that before you have to redo it?
I can rely on that mold. Well, that mold can last forever. It depends on if the person changes.
But I'm saying, if my foot changes, how will you know if that mold's any good or not?
Well, I follow a prescription in that process. So if you need a recast, I can recast every time we do an insult. So there's a process. These usually, I thought you were asking about the life of this, which is not an infinite life. But no, I can, depends on the need. So we probably want to recast mostly anytime you got a new pair.
Okay.
Most likely.
How long do those last?
Since it's EVA and it's not a rigid material, I usually say it's only use 3 years. Depends. It varies. We do different versions of these things for diabetics and different versions for mechanical needs. I fit people that are trained for marathons and these things too. So it's just it varies. But there's some life to it, and we can work on. I have a lab, workbench area, and I have people that are trained to modify this.
So you do plantar fasciitis also?
I hear that word every day.
Okay.
It should be in Webster's.
What is it?
That's a heel pain. That's my foot hurts. That's a vulnerable area. But anyway, I don't want to take up too much time because I talk a little bit. But we are very blessed to be. I mean, this is our world. I used to travel a lot for different jobs and different life stages and whatever. I live here. I can walk down 7th Avenue to my house. The store is a mile away. We go to church over here near the salt block. Our world is like this, and this is, we are a part of Hickory. So we're very happy and blessed to be here. And so this is a nice opportunity to introduce myself to you guys. So I appreciate it.
Will your orthotics and your orthotic shoes deal with bunions on the big toe to keep it from getting amputated?
Yes. And the short answer, yes. There's a lot of mechanics. There's a lot of moving parts. That I've been certified since 2001, really. But my people, I have a guy that's been with me 13 years. He's a certified orthopedist. I have other people that are credentialed for fitting and medical. We try to take care of that. We get a lot of physician referrals. We get a lot of needs like that.
Can you get big all sports?
Can I what?
That all sport you showed us, can you get big sizes in that?
Yeah, this is a Brooks. But the tennis shoe, yeah. I go up to, I can get up. I've ordered, I carry size 16s and the shoes go to 16s.
Okay.
So what's that new one?
1440.
You use boats.
Well, you know, if I carry a 14 or a 15 or a 16 inch straw, I don't keep them long, because the guys that need them don't have as many options, and once they find it, they buy it.
Amen. Amen.
Because it takes forever sometimes to find your, But no, we're also about, I'm a sit and fit. I have that stool and that little metal thing that you saw, that old fashioned thing. Yeah, the Brannick device. That's old school, and that's still the best way to measure a foot. But also training, we take you through a little evaluation of gait analysis. It's very personal. It's very permission oriented, because you're getting in someone's space. It's not just a, here's your hat, what's your hurry, good luck. You go try on that shoe in the aisle and pay me for it when you're ready. No, it's very. We take people through an evaluation because it is personal. And I always say all my customers are projects. So it's this isn't necessarily a bullseye right out of the gate. You're going to want to come back and let us see how it works to modify. So it's very
How does your Medicare relationship work? Do you have to have a prescription from the primary physician, or
correct?
Can you apply to Medicare directly?
Correct. Can I ask you a personal question in a group? Are you diabetic?
Yes.
Then you need to.
I have. That's okay. I understand that part. I've done all that. I just need to know if I need to transfer it or if you can work directly.
I can take care of that for you. We need to have a certain paperwork and prescription from your doctor, and then I need to collect physical notes and things. So if you just come to me, I can take care of everything for you. I have someone assigned to that. So.
What kinds of things do you do for neuropathy?
Well, see, neuropathy is a condition I accommodate. So neuropathy is about the nerve endings. You have more nerve endings per square inch in your surface of your hands and your feet than any other part of your body for a reason. That's your sense of touch. That's your communication with the world. That's also prevention from injury. That's notice how I draw away before my brain even gets involved in that. With standing, when you move, it tells every muscle in your body, how to react so that you don't fall down. So one of the prime needs, other than eating and finding shelter and procreation, is don't fall down. That's what we're programmed for. So we do that. So neuropathy, usually complicated by either a central nervous system issue that expands more likely diabetes, interferes with your interaction. Now, it also hurts. So all I can do for the pain part is put you into the right kind of materials so that you're as comfortable as possible. Maybe have a shoe that has more air radius so you're not as hot. But what I can do for prevention, because neuropathy stops you from knowing pain is necessary in life. It tells you don't do that. You don't get that. We have to deal with a lot of calluses that turn into ulcers, and ulcers turn into amputation. So how I help is with the comfort. It's a hard call because that's hard to deal with. But I can help with not letting it turn into a problem physically. I overtalk you.
No.
Good. Carry on.
You guys are on the schedule. Is that a dollar amount? But no, I appreciate this opportunity. So thank you very much. Hey, my card's on here. Come by the store. You know where we are on the square. My wife says beside the wine shop. I'm in trouble now. I used to say where Angelo's used to be. That's how we get directions. Everything in Hickory's where something used to be. You come from out of town and you're different dialects here, you can't get directions from us. Yeah. But now we're actually beside something that exists. Where the old drugstore was, but we're beside the wine shop now.
The old Smith's Drugs. Smith's Drugs, that's right.
Oh, yeah, Lomont.
The first time I met Scott was after my wife had hip surgery, and her right leg became 3/4 of an inch shorter than the left leg. So we had to get he fixed it so she could walk without limping.
Thank you very much. Oh, darn.
You have probably plowed some fertile ground here.
It's very, like I said, it's a very personal thing, and like I said, I don't usually present. I just field conversation.
Ms. Garman, please stand up.
Yes, sir.
We'd like to present you with
Face the camera, face the camera.
We'd like to present you, I forgot what I was gonna say, but this here, okay? It's made out of genuine wood. From Wayne, he makes these things, aren't they beautiful? And, looks like a wine store. You might have a use for it. If not, throw it, knock somebody out who's coming out of wine. They have a problem, okay? Thank you very much.
My pleasure.
You ought to really come back as a member.
Yes, I knew that was coming.
You've already learned to pay $1.
You know the standard rules now.
Okay.
I've been waiting to say that.
It's not time to jump up. Be quiet. I'm just trying to, okay, I'll do it this way. Okay, I'll just tap. Okay. Anybody has any unfinished business we want to talk about? Start with you, Ms. Jenny.
Thank you. The contribution to Viewmont's make sure kids don't go without food.
Yes.
I don't know where that landed.
Okay. Anybody got anything on that?
No check.
Yeah, and I think we've never had a full, honest to goodness, regular meeting.
Viewmont?
No, Glenn was told to write the check. And I thought he
Yeah, we
had.
approved it.
Okay, yeah, it was approved. I guess that's-
If we had Glenn here today, we'd have the check. So as soon as we have Glenn, we'll have the check.
Okay.
Okay. A check is coming when we see Glenn.
Check's in the mail.
Check will come
That was originally listed as the principal's fund, right?
Yes, sir.
when we see Glenn, okay? Okay, our treasurer. Okay,
That was not a discretionary, that was specifically for feeding the kids.
Yes.
Yeah.
okay.
It goes through the principal's fund, but it'll be tagged for food.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay, I think, since you have something to say?
I was gonna bring the same thing up.
Okay.
That's all.
Oh. All right, glad to get that. Anybody else? I think I saw somebody else down the road that had some unfinished business that we need to talk about. All of you guys were gonna talk about this? Unfinished business, sir.
His coffee's not finished.
Almost, do I have unfinished business?
Yes, you
with
do.
Specifically with you, Donald, or with
Lots
the
of
club?
folk. Stand up and tell the club just how many tickets to the
Dance.
dance that you've already sold, how many ads you've gotten.
I have sold a similar number to last year.
You know, that's very strategic. That's
good.
Yeah, that's very good, Gavin. Would you like to point somebody else to stand? You know, you can point now.
Does anybody want to stand? Michael.
There you go, Mike. Mr.
I
Simmons.
gotta say,
Yes, sir.
y'all wasting.
I'm not wasting
I
time.
just want to tell Steve and all the Low Ryan alumni, thank you for letting us whip that tail last weekend. We want to just tell you thank you from the University of West Alabama, my alma mater. So just thank you, appreciate everything you've done for us.
Yes, sir.
Donald, I will say,
That's self-serving.
I'm sorry.
No, fine, you know.
I would see,
Ah.
Well, my tag on my
I kind of.
One at a time?
Since Bob is away, I have tickets. I was kind of hoping through no effort of my own that we would be seeing some sales, which we haven't been. And at least that I've seen, or through the Facebook page, I have had inquiries. So I think there will be some people coming through the Facebook page. I haven't actually sold any tickets. There was a piece that appeared in the Hickory Daily Record. Did anybody see that? There was a big write-up, which was great, but it didn't say where to buy the tickets. There was no phone number. It did say to check out.
I think the one in the Newton paper had it.
Okay. The Hickory Daily Record didn't. It did say to check out the Facebook page, I think, but I'm not even sure it gave the address.
They may have just edited what we're saying.
Yeah, I think they did a bit of an edit on that. So that didn't yield any results.
But this is atypical, isn't it? The ticket sales doesn't pick up.
Yeah,
No,
Till October.
yeah, we wouldn't expect to have many.
Yeah.
That's true, but Donald, I guess you're right, to keep pressure on, obviously.
But I do think that I need to keep that before us,
Sure.
so that we won't forget that. We have had a couple of ads registered. Okay. Yes, sir?
As a matter of guilt, he has given $1 for a fine for that comment. There's a bunch of LR people in here, so he felt guilty what he said. So
He has a conscience? He has a conscience?
He hadn't seen guilt till he leaves, and that blue light shows up in his rearview mirror.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
I appreciate it.
We'll take care of that.
Yes, sir. We appreciate that. Yes, ma'am?
Just to update,
Kenny's son is home,
Yes,
Good,
sir.
good.
but he is still struggling a good bit with some health issues. Hopes to go back to school next week, but he is home and healing and getting better, and so.
Can we do anything for Kenny?
I harass him about
Okay.
every other day.
Okay.
And
to-
so have
to do
I,
stuff.
and, you know,
Yeah.
at first he wanted, different kind of candies. I got ready to go get candies. He said, we want a Baptist. And
Right.
he couldn't get the candies. Now he's back.
yeah.
And so Kenny, just went back to work on yesterday.
Yeah.
And he's, spending the day, told me to tell you that he's trying to catch up. He's been off for about a week.
Mm-hmm.
And so he's really trying to catch up.
What, I don't know.
Kenneth's son, Seth,
Seth.
was diagnosed with Crohn's disease, and he had an abscess removed. And so he has a lot of healing. It's an external abscess, and he has a lot of healing that's associated with that. So there's a lot of family involvement in that healing process.
The big thing for Seth is he was all set to go into the military. That's what the
Yeah.
boy wanted to do. He's ROTC in and out, but with Crohn's you can't. So,
That's basically a lifetime situation.
Yeah. yeah, and so, the plus side is, he's a real positive kid, and he had already started taking firefighting classes at HCAM. So he's kind of making a little mental shift from military service to a different kind of public service with fire service. So, I was glad to hear Kenny say that, he's already kind of making that shift, because initially when they were thinking it might be Crohn's, he was totally bummed because he knew that would exclude him from being able to serve.
Was he just diagnosed?
When they went to Baptist.
Just let
It was
Kenny know that law enforcement is paramilitary, not fire.
Right.
Okay, any other business? If we have nothing new, do we have any new business to discuss?
Well, I wasn't finished, Mr. President.
You had so many interruptions. You see, that's why I want a lot of time
See,
talking.
that's why you're president.
That's right. Thank you. Now,
Please
you
vote.
called to my attention, and come on, let's get it.
But no, seriously, has the club done anything collectively? I mean, is there,
Right.
that's sort
For
of,
Kenny,
Yeah. Well,
I think we need to.
yeah.
I think that's a good idea. Okay, let's entertain some ideas of what we can do. He has-
Well, I mean, you said he's hadn't been working.
He's been out of work for a full week, I know.
Okay, and we have discretionary funds.
Yes.
Do we?
Yes,
Okay,
we
so,
do.
Well, he's still running back and forth to Winston,
Yes.
because he's got to go back this week for a checkup.
well, you know Kenny, so if we did something like a gas card,
That's
because
what
trying
I
to
was-
give him money, not gonna do that.
Mhm.
A gas card with something on it.
Probably appreciate it.
Yeah, something
Yeah.
like that. So,
That's a
good idea.
like a $200.
I second.
Third,
Fourth,
Fourth,
I already forwarded it.
okay.
He can be
It's,
fifth.
So somebody have.
Okay,
a
now-
calendar to get it?
Okay, we set the gas card. Are we sticking on $200 or we're going for
Well,
$400? What are
that's
we gonna
just
do?
That's what the.
200 was the motion.
Two is the motion? Okay,
Second.
$200 gas card. Okay, should we ask Glenn to get the card or Glenn to reimburse somebody?
Wait,
Easiest if you could get the card possibly, rather.
Yeah.
Okay? I can get the card today and take the card to, I have to go see him today.
Oh,
Okay, and so I can get the card,
Get the $100.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Second, aye.
okay, so I'll go get him a card, I'll take it, I gotta see you today anyway.
Just
Taking
return
card,
this receipt in, that's what's gonna get.
not a problem.
Receipt, Glenn.
Yeah.
Okay.
Quick point of clarification. Do you get a gas card or a Visa card? That would
It'd be
make him.
easier to a Visa with it.
That's
So you
it.
can get gas where we want to.
And-
Like a credit union costs, what,
Right,
$2?
$2.
Yeah.
Okay, then I'll go to the
Or any
credit
bank.
union and
Yeah.
get a Visa card.
That way you can buy your meal, you can buy your
Yeah,
gas,
Whatever.
Yes,
whatever
okay.
it is.
Tell them gas now, cause you know you're not gonna take it if you.
Yeah. I will get, when I leave here, when the bank's open, I will get a $200 card from, I guess, the credit union to that place.
Yeah.
They open at 8:30.
They open 8:30, which, okay, give everybody to eat and
There you
take
go.
care of that.
Good.
Not a problem. Okay, any other business? That's.
Yeah, one question.
Hold on.
I don't think we got a program, on the 19th.
That's me.
You want to?
Okay.
All right.
I'm the 26th now.
And your program has to do with Alzheimer's, is that
Alzheimer's,
correct?
yes.
Okay. I will not speak on CART and Alzheimer's. I probably will take on polio and world public health issues.
It might still be appropriate to do whatever you're going to do. The lady I've got is specifically from the Alzheimer's Association, so she's going to talk about what they do, as well as a little bit about Alzheimer's. But if you've got a program you would like to talk about,
I would still talk about CART, Phil.
All right, I'll do CART and polio both. I'll do sort of a combo program on RI and where we are.
I'm also hearing a lot of chatter about we're going to do something for polio with marker. Hearing a lot of.
Let me update you on that, because I haven't had a chance to update. I am our representative for all the Rotary clubs that are doing something. Two things going on they're talking about. One is a mural on the square, and more than likely across from the one that already exists, probably close to where your office is. And they have bids out from a few artists right now. The second one is to piggyback on what we came up with, and that is putting a marker of something on the site of the Miracle of Hickory, where that actual hospital was. And there's a lot of, everybody's on board with that. It's just, nobody knows exactly what it should be or could be. But every time it's brought up, Cliff Moon gives our club credit for it. He keeps saying, this is, Sunrise came up with this idea and so on. And I don't want us to get lost in being with all the other clubs. But I want to keep the dialogue going, and I think my next meeting is in a couple of weeks. So if there are specific things, a kiosk has been mentioned to be put up there with information so people can see actually where the hospital was, because the vast majority of people in Hickory had either never heard of the Miracle of Hickory, or if they had no idea where the hospital was. And they drive by, a lot of people drive by it all the time. So some kind of marker that is obvious that this is where the miracle occurred.
Can you not do those metal, you know how you have those thick metal gray signs that say,
Yeah.
The
We can
historical
get the
mark.
state to
"Did you
print
frame
one of
this up
those.
here or
Yeah,
whatever?"
there's one on 70,
321.
that's right, 321 by Arby's, that, yeah. And it says 3/4 of a mile northwest or whatever. You know, okay, where?
We want to mark where.
That doesn't, and we could probably do something like that, but something that's almost interactive, that people can learn about.
If we're gonna get if we're gonna get something to happen this year, Barry Ryson is asking that we do it and publicize it for October 24th,
You know,
the annual polio day.
I think what they're talking about is 2019.
to do 70.
I understand that,
75th
but if
anniversary.
we're gonna do something this year,
I-
we wanna do it for the 24th.
Yeah.
A publicity, a meeting, hoorah, something.
Maybe we could announce, on that day, we could announce what we're gonna do, if we can finalize it by then.
Yeah.
Did we have how much we're gonna spend, how much, like if you did a
That's not
kiosk,
been brought up yet.
but if you did a kiosk, some options, then how much those things cost?
Yeah.
Because basically, I guess we can get contributions from.
And that's what they're talking about.
The other clubs.
Yeah, so, yeah.
Clubs doing it, but also reaching out to the community to be part of.
the kiosk may be a little different, you know, something different instead of just endless. That's it. But how much we have.
And I don't know when the next meeting I think is in 2 weeks, but I'll pass on. I get as much information as I can.
So I'm gonna write down that you're gonna get back to us on that, and we are kind of pushing to have some kind of an interactive marker on the actual site.
Something on the actual site.
Okay.
And that was our idea over a year ago.
Okay.
Is that committee also handling the war memorial when we wanted to move the cannon?
No,
Separate project?
separate. This is just a polio group.
Okay.
And they're working, there is a group in town that meets the polio survivors.
Okay.
They have regular meetings. We're working with them too.
Okay. Now that we've changed our time to get out of here is about 10 minutes till. We're a little bit over.
Okay, the class is not out there next time. So
Well,
if
you
you
know,
need
not only
anything
that-
else, you got another 5 minutes.
But there is a Rotaract club of polio survivors, I believe.
Yeah.
I think Cliff formed one, yeah. We have to look. I'm pretty sure that there is a new Rotary entity related to polio survivors.
Yes, sir.
Tomorrow evening, at least 3 members of your club
5:30 to
are
7:30.
going to be attending the past president's
Council.
at Crown Plaza, which probably puts us as the highest percentage of at many of the Hickory clubs.
Not really.
No, not really.
No, Boone's coming, I mean,
Yeah,
Lenore.
Lenore's got a ton
Lenore's
of people.
coming, yeah.
But Hickory.
We may have some folks from Valdez if they don't go to the Morganton show.
They don't count. We're talking about here.
Yeah, top of county.
Well, I'm just saying, I think we'll be well represented at the council meeting too.
Well, the North
I've
doesn't
got
count
another meeting.
Okay.
The thing we think, say, or do, is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill with better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned?
And is it fun?
By the way, take this black snail and make some hay with it, because Ray Cousins is a fantastic pianist, and he's coming and presenting a voluntary concert to the benefit of Classroom Connections. And the best thing we can do is get it attended.
Have we solidified, everybody understands we meet now at 7 o'clock?
We now meet at 7.
Where's my secretary? Send out a memo on that, please.
I will. I'll put them up there.
Yeah.
Put you up to
Okay.
it. Ron Lee, here is this thing. I had edited it. I just wrote Lynn's senior stuff in here.
Anybody want to take those home?
I resent my
Take the
email.
donuts, please. Take the donuts, somebody.
I'll take them.
July 31st.
Got some over the soup kitchen out there.
I think I might leave.
You know, there's a good chance we can use
Some more there.
Take those donuts, please. Take them both, please. Take them out there.
Yes, we should.
I only got one hand. I'm gonna take a one box.
Because Rory doesn't count.
The money that they reference. We'll be talking about how many you have.
I saw a doctor.
Medical man. If they were filled with money, would you tell me how many hands you had?
Except for the phone number being wrong.
Have a great day.
I grew up there.
Where?
Have a good day.
I went to college, these
I
days.
said,
Very
little
good.
pocket filled with money.
Gary's
Tell me
mom,
how
my
many
dad
you
owned
had.
a shop. Gary?
It's just relative.
You are? Yeah, that's how I met you. You were my place in elementary school.
Yes,
I was and Stuart Gorman's my younger brother, and Sherry was my sister. That's wow. There was something going on there. That was way. That's an age ago, man. That was in the. I was born in 52.